What is up? What is up, Strike Squad? So, we are going to talk about something I think is very important today, which is basically keeping your cool and not running around like an idiot. It's kind of hard to describe like what this is, but pretty much what I see it as is like don't be a reactionary player, be a proactive player. And what that means is that you make a plan and you stick to your plan and you change your plan if needed, right? But you don't wait for the enemy to do something, whatever that random thing is, and then run over here to try and react to it, right? Because first off, you can't improve when you do that, and second off, because there's no decision making in that process, and second off, it's usually just bad. So we're gonna go through this. We're gonna kind of talk about like how this plays out and everything. I start leaving because minions are coming. We end up getting first blood there. That's great. Okay, now we're gonna pause the game right here and we're gonna look at something. So, what do we know? We know that Viego just used his flash. This guy has TP. This guy has no TP, and Singed for some reason is sitting bot lane. Okay, now a lot of people probably know what the right answer is, but I'm just going to go through it anyways. The right thing for me to do here is shove as quickly as possible so this rebounds back and I can freeze in an early game wave state on this Singed. Because Singed early game has zero pushing power. None. So then I just get to keep him in a freeze for as long as I want and he can't do anything, right? So by this guy making what he thinks is some kind of like crazy cool play, he's pretty much already lost the game. So we'll play this out. We'll see what happens, right? I'm doing a second wave crash specifically because we know that this guy's being an idiot. Now, I take 2 tower shots there because I'm an idiot, right? But now all we're going to do is we're just going to let this wave push out and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. So I have fleet here and I have a pot, so I'm not really worried about like the damage that I took per se, right? But now our Talia's headed topside. I have guaranteed level advantage on this guy, probably for the rest of the game, because he has level. We're even in levels right now, but the reason we're level even in the reason we are even in levels right now is because that giant wave crashed earlier, right? But once I collect this stacked wave, he's no longer, gonna be even with me. So we just poke, and we just play this intelligently, right? He's making these crazy plays and everything. He's leaving lane right now. So all I have to do is ping, right, and communicate. I'm telling Taliyah, hey, I don't know where my top laner is. I'm also going to ping mid lane, and I'm going to say, hey, I don't know where my top laner is. I very, 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 very strongly recommend you start pinging like this on your mini map, because for a lot of people, you start doing missing pings, they don't know that you're talking to them and they're not looking at your lane, but when a question mark shows up right on top of your character icon, you know that somebody's talking to you, right? And if they're not flaming you, then it's probably a legitimate communication. You pay more attention. Right? Oh wow, Singed is mid, still goofing off, right? I'm not going to break this freeze. I'm not going to react to the shenanigans that this guy's doing. If I freak out and I go, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do, and I start shoving this wave out, then he has the ability to get back in the game, which is not what we want, right? Our goal is to starve this guy for making these aggressive and frankly, like, disrespectful plays, right? So even right now, just at 4 minutes, we're 10 CS up on him. We're a level up on him. And it's only going to get worse for this guy. Okay? Now, a lot of you guys are saying, like, well, the Singed is an idiot, and blah, 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 blah. True. The Singed is an idiot. The Singed should not be doing this. The Singed is completely ignoring, like, the fundamentals of laning in order to try and make, like, cheeky plays to tilt my team. But the thing is that if I react to it, I'm the idiot. If I react to it and I leave lane and I don't manage my waves and I don't get the guaranteed gold and XP from the minions, then I I'm losing now because I'm playing his game. I don't want to play his game. I want to play my game. Okay? This is something that happens all the time in lower elo. You'll see it in bot lanes, you'll see it in mid lanes, you'll see it in top lanes, and you especially see it with junglers. Junglers will take fights with no prio. Junglers will go with scuttles when you're will go for scuttles when you're behind. They'll go for invades with no prio and no vision. Don't react. Don't follow stupid plays just because you're like, I gotta do something. What you can do is get guaranteed golden XP and scale. The game is not going to be won or lost in the first 10 minutes. People throw, there are shutdowns, there's catch-up XP. Just stay calm. Right? So now what we do is we cancel his back. Because he doesn't have TP, right? So every single time I cancel his back here, it's worth it for me. Even better that I get a kill. But now what I can do is I can back, I can buy, I can TP, and then this guy loses another cannon wave. He's now, what? Yeah, he's falling even further behind in CS, and I'm level 6, and he's level 4, and he's still roaming. Now, the nice thing here is that we kill him again, and now this is still frozen. Because I know that the incoming waves are going to hold it, and I'm not going to break the freeze. I'm not going to break this freeze. This Singed game is quite literally unplayable at this point. And now, I can roam down again, and he's, like, despite how some people might look at this Singed and they're like, well, he's roaming to help because he can't do anything in lane. Well, the reason he can't do anything in lane is because he could have at least stayed here and gotten XP, and if he was 6, he probably could have popped Ghost, he could have popped his ult, he could have ran around, he could have smoked the wave, and at least gotten it to crash so it would rebound, or then started proxying. But instead of doing that, he's so convinced that, like, the way to win the game is to make these goofy plays that, like, nobody sees coming. And it's like, you see this kind of stuff happen in low elo all the time, where people are convinced that, like, by doing this cheeky play over and over again, excuse me, they're going to get in your head, and then when they get in your head, you're going to mess up. So if you remain constant and you, excuse me, don't react, then you're going to come out ahead in, like, 99% of these situations. And I want to show you guys, like, just how extreme this is, because this is a very good example, right? Now Singed is proxying. Well, here's the trick to when someone proxies you. You just proxy back. It's a 1v1 against Viego, unless Akali comes. But even if Akali comes, I'm not really scared of either of them, you know? So I'm just going to match the proxy. And now, his giant plan to proxy, I've cut his wave just like he's cut my wave. So now his tempo advantage that he would have gotten from proxying, it doesn't really exist anymore. Now, like, I think I'll miss cannon here. I don't even miss cannon here, which is even crazier. Right? And then he catches the wave, so I definitely don't miss cannon. So thanks. And now we just hold the freeze again. Right? Because this guy didn't get it completely in. But at this point, I'm, you know, I'm way ahead of this guy. I'm level 8 to level 6 and everything else. So it's not really worth it for me to, like, chase him or anything. And this is exactly what I was talking about. This guy's going to proxy. I'm just going to clear wave because I have the wave clear to do that as Urgot. But if he continues to proxy, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to move up and I'm going to start proxying myself. Right? He dies to the tower to execute. It's faster than recalling. Whatever. You know? But herein lies the issue. This guy's still not running TP. He's still behind. And now that I know that he's reset and I know where he is on the map, I can hold him in a freeze, I can stand here, and I can keep him from getting back to his proxy position. Permanently. And there's nothing he can do about it. I'm now almost 40 CS ahead of this guy. Right? It's 10 minutes! Now granted, the rest of the game has turned into a bit of like a shenanigan fest. But this is the thing, is as long as I keep him from going back to proxy where he wants, and I keep a wave here, this guy's game is completely over. Now, I know that this has kind of turned into like a, look at how much I'm stomping this guy, blah, blah, blah. But what I'm trying to really, really drive home with you guys is that, like, when we look at this game right now, everybody is losing for the most part pretty handedly, except for me. Artelia is 1-4, so not really doing the great. She's ahead in gold, but that's not saying much. Me and the Lux are the only ones doing well, right? But had I roamed to chase this Singed all over the place, I wouldn't have the lead I have now, right? So I I just want to drive it home one more time where it's like you make a plan, you stick to your plan, and then based on what you see, you adapt, and then you stay constant. Don't be a reactionary player. It's not good. This is not good. Be proactive. Be a proactive player. Make a plan. Stick to your plan. Let everybody else run around like monkeys, okay? And then the next time, you can decide if that plan was the right plan. Or if you see like a really, really good opportunistic play, then take advantage of it. I'm going to make a video about that next, where I go into kind of like, oh, I see a really good play. Well, then take advantage of it, right? But you have to learn that. You have to stay constant first before you start adding in variables, right? So learn to stay constant, especially if you're a low elo player. Learn to stay constant with your CS, your farm, your experience, right? Your vision, tracking the enemy junglers, uh, cooldown management, trading, those things before you start going for these wild plays like this Singed. Because without the consistency and the constants, the wild plays won't win you the game. They'll honestly lose you the game. You'll be much worse off. But I hope that this was helpful, and I will see you guys in the next one.